You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
What's up YouTube, this is Brandon with Third Rate Duelist. I'm going to come at you guys with a combo video for my Shaddoll deck today. Several of you guys have asked for this, so I'm going to go ahead and provide that for you today. Now before we get started, I got a new camera mount. Like last time I did one of these videos, Gary held the camera for me the whole time. So I got this new camera mount, and if I bump into it, I'm going to apologize in advance. I made one of these for you guys yesterday, and it ended up being like 40 minutes long. So I'm going to try and cut that down. I'm going to shoot for a 25-minute mark because I've got a total of 7 combos to go through with you guys. So I'm going to try and slim that down. I think you guys watch a 40-minute video. And then also, like right after I finished that video yesterday, the ban list came out and Construct came to 3. So for any of you that are curious, I ended up taking out the 3rd Winda and the 3rd Mechaba for the other 2 copies of Construct. So the reason why the 3rd Winda is because you can fusion summon into Construct more often now, so you don't need the 3rd Winda as much in my opinion. And Mechaba was kind of like a a beat stick in the deck for you to fuse into as well as a negate, so you don't need the 3rd one as often now that we have 3 Construct back. Alright, so before I roll into this deck's kind of hard to make a combo video for because there's so many different ways to really get to the board we're getting to. So if you're playing first, your primary end board is going to be either Invoker of Madness, Winda, and Kalga, or you're shooting for an Invoker of Madness, Mechaba, and Kalga with a Shaddoll monster and an El Shaddoll set. That is what we're aiming for when we go first, because any form of Kalga and Winda or Mechaba and Kalga is really, really annoying for the opponent to deal with. So that's what we're kind of aiming for here when we're playing first. There's a bunch of ways to get here, which is why it was so hard to make a combo video for this deck. So I kind of went through and just picked the most common ones that you would probably see when opening hands in this. So first things first, the going first combos is going to be 3, 4, and 5 card combos because it's a fusion deck. I mean, let's face it, you have to open a fusion spell and the fusion materials to be able to do this stuff. Alright, and then you won't get into any 2-card combos until you're playing second because your opponent, will hopefully have an extra deck monster on the field and your Shaddoll Fusion's live. So, kind of keep that in mind as we go through this. This isn't going to be any, 2-card combos over and over again. It's going to be 3 and 4-card combos, but these 3 and 4-card combos can be interchanged multiple times. Alright, so if you're playing first, the very first thing you want to do is make Invoker of Madness as soon as possible because he gets the invoked plays going. And then you can, make the Kalga and the Mechaba and stuff like that, and then use El Shaddoll Fusion to make Window or another construct to trigger his effect to discard to search. Okay? And then don't be afraid to, burn through Construct turn 1 to send an El Shaddoll Fusion or Graveyard so you can link into Alistair to add it back to hand to fusion summon into Window. That's come up several times, so that might be something you have to do playing first as well, so kind of keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this before I ramble any longer. This first one here is a 3-card combo. I've got these empty sleeves to signify blank cards. I've got some more here to the side in case we draw or whatever. Alright, so 2 blank cards, White Dragon, Wyvern Burster, Mathematician, and Shaddoll Fusion. So these first 2 combos kind of show what you can do without opening Alistair the Invoker. If you open Alistair the Invoker, then you don't need to use Invoker of Madness to fusion summon into the invoked monsters. Alright, so we're going to normal summon Mathematician, activate his effect. We're going to dump Shaddoll Hedgehog, use Shaddoll Hedgehog's effect, and generally I'll search Squamata if I need to search a Shaddoll monster, but in this case we're going to search Beast. Because we're going to use this Beast to discard, to draw a card, so that way we have more blank cards to choose from when we discard for Invoker of Madness, which you'll see when we get there. So now I'm going to banish this Hedgehog, special summon Wyvern Burster. Link these 2 off into Invoker of Madness. We're going to trigger White Dragon's effect. Search Black Dragon. Okay. So now we're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion. And this is why I searched Beast. Special summon Winda. I'm going to send these 2 to Graveyard to do that. Okay. So now we're going to make our Alistair the Invoker of Madness Chainlink 1. And we're going to make our Beast Chainlink 2. So this is why I didn't search Squamata. Because if we made Squamata Chainlink 2 then discarded Beast to draw a card, then we would have to discard one of these 2 blank cards. And so the reason I made Beast Chainlink 2 is because now we're going to draw a blank card and then discard one of these blank cards. So in case you had something really good in your hand you didn't want to get rid of, like let's say these two original ones are super good, then you draw a card that's not as good, now we can discard that blank card that we didn't want as much. That's why I did that. The reason I didn't search like Falco is because now we're under Winda, and we won't be able to use Invocation with if we use Falco's effect to set itself. And so then discard a blank card for Invoker of Madness. Search Invocation. Activate Invocation. And now you can either make a Mechaba or you can make Kalga. Personally, because you can use this Alistair as material because his effect is when he's in field or graveyard, his name's Alistair the Invoker. I would personally make Kalga because you have 2 cards in hand. You only have 2 cards in hand. If they're both monsters, then you only have a monster negate with Mechaba. And like a Mechaba negate and a Winda is not that good. As to where like Kalga on the field with Winda is better in my opinion because you're forcing your opponent to deal with, 1 or 2 problems. So it's pretty good. So that's the first combo right there. Is we're going to end on Invoked Kalga and El Shaddoll Winda with an Invocation Engrave and a Shaddoll Fusion. So if they get rid of this Winda, we're going to add Shaddoll Fusion back to hand. And depending on our hand, we'll see what we can do. If they have an extra deck monster, then, we're going to play Shaddoll Fusion, make Contra, and go ham sandwich. Okay, so that's the kind of thing about these combos. It really depends on your hand composition, on what you're necessarily going to, search and add, and all that fun stuff. So that's one reason why it was so hard for me to like try and pick some combos that would be really good for this deck. Because it really just depends on what your hand looks like, on what you can do. Alright, so that's the first one. Then reset real quick. So the second one is, put this back in here, Black Dragon, Mathematician, which if you guys have noticed, I got my secret rare Mathematician back from Dustin. And then a Fusion and a Shaddoll. So generally, whenever I pick a Shaddoll, I'm going to usually pick Squamata. Squamata is the best one to open. And a lot of these, like, you don't really want to open Beast, and you don't really want to open Dragon, because Dragon's like the worst one playing first. But like Squamata, Hedgehog, and Falco all do something, and the reason why I pick Squamata is just because I can guarantee another Shaddoll body on field this way. That's why I go that route. Alright, and then we have a blank card. So this is a 4-card combo. As I said earlier, it's a fusion deck. You have to open the fusion materials and a way to link out. So that's kind of what we're going for here. Alright, so for this one right here, it's Shaddoll Fusion. Any Shaddoll monster, preferably like Squamata or Hedgehog, Mathematician, and Black Dragon. So first thing we're going to do is we're normal Mathematician, and we're going to dump a light monster. So don't dump White Dragon, because you want to search it later to make Construct. Personally, I would dump like Effect Failure, because you kind of want to keep your Clown Engine live. So dumping this like turn 1 doesn't really do anything to hurt you, and you're keeping resource in deck. So that's why I chose Effect Failure. And then we're going to banish that Effect Failure to summon Black Dragon. Alright, so now things are starting to look like the other combo. We're going to link these two away for our Invoker Madness. Trigger Clop Serpent's effect. We're going to search White Dragon. Alright. Things are looking pretty spicy here. So now we're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion. We're going to send these. Special summon our Construct. We're going to make our Alistair Chainlink 1. We're going to make our Construct Chainlink 2. And we're going to make our Squamata Chainlink 3. Alright. So we're going to dump. And we haven't used Hedgehog yet. So we're going to dump these 2 off Construct. Construct and Squamata. It doesn't matter which one you send off of Squamata and which one you send off Construct, because they both send any Shaddoll card. So one off Construct, one off Squamata, and then you're going to discard your blank card. Search Invocation. Okay, now we're going to activate Hedgehog's effect. And we're going to search Falco. After you shuffle your deck. Now we got a pretty good graveyard at this point. 2 cards in hand. You have an Invocation and a Shaddoll Falco. And then we got L and Shaddoll Fusion and Engrave, which is pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to link these away for another Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. The reason I did that is that way I didn't have to get rid of the one that was on field. I'd still have one on field. I got rid of it, obviously. But Now we get to keep one. So now we're going to activate Invocation. You're going to banish the Alistair and the Invoker Magnus you linked off. And then since we have both El Shaddoll Fusion and Shaddoll Fusion Engrave, we don't really need Hedgehog anymore, but I would personally get rid of the Black Dragon just because you can't do anything with it anymore. And then you can possibly might need the Hedgehog later. So banish these two to make Calga. Alright, now do not forget to do this, because I already forgot to do it. So let's back up for a second here before we do that. After you link off Construct and your Invoker Madness, do not forget to do this. This is super important, ladies and gentlemen. Add back your El Shaddoll Fusion. Sorry about that, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Add back Shaddoll Fusion whenever you link off Alistair and Construct to make the other Alistair. Because you need this to make Winda. Please do not forget this, because Construct's Graveyard effect is when it's sent from field to grave, you add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your grave to your hand. All the fusions do that. Okay, so now we're going to activate Invocation. We're going to banish these two like I did earlier, which is Alistair the Invoker of Madness and Black Dragon, to make Calga. Alright, now we're going to trigger Invoker's effect. We're going to discard the Falco we searched to search another Invocation. Okay, now we're going to activate that Invocation, and then before we do that, now we're going to trigger Falco's effect, because we discarded it. And the Shaddolls do get their effects off of Alistair the Invoker, because his effect's not cost. So we're going to activate our Falco to set it. Now we're going to activate Invocation. No, we're not going to activate Invocation. We're going to keep that in hand, sorry. Then we're going to set this El Shaddoll Fusion. So this is our turn 1 play. I kept the Invocation in hand because I didn't really want to get rid of our Alistair the Invoker and burn through 2 of them so early in the game. But if you want to, personally, I would keep this Invocation in hand. You can make Mechaba right now if you wanted to, and then you could have Mechaba with no negates in hand, which I feel like is useless, but I digress, with a Calga and a set Falco and a set El Shaddoll Fusion. So this is our graveyard right now. We've got Mathematician Squamata and a Shaddoll Fusion Engrave with a Construct and a Falco set and an El Shaddoll Fusion set. So the reason why this is really good in my opinion is because if your opponent goes like out the Calga, you just chain El Shaddoll Fusion to make Winda, and then now they're under just as many problems. You know what I mean? And being able to activate El Shaddoll Fusion on your opponent's turn with El is super good, because like if they go to activate something like a good example is like Instant Fusion, and I chain El Shaddoll Fusion and I get rid of Alistair and I get rid of Falco to make Winda, and then use Falco's effect to set itself. If I do that on my opponent's turn when they activate El Shaddoll Fusion, when they activate Instant Fusion, sorry, you realistically, you've essentially locked them in a pretty hard lock. So if they don't have Thousand Eyes Restrict in their extra deck for the Instant Fusion, then they're essentially locked for the turn because that's their one special summon. And if they do, they have to choose. If they have Thousand Eyes, they have to choose if they're going to get rid of the Winda, or they have to choose to get rid of the Calga. And realistically, it sucks for them, because if they get rid of the Winda, that's their one monster effect for the turn for the Calga, and they're not going to be able to do anything else, probably. If they get rid of the Calga, that's their one special summon for the turn, so they're stuck. So they realistically have to take the Winda, and then that's their one effect with the Calga. So being able to El Shaddoll Fusion into Winda on your opponent's turn is really strong, because it gives you the opportunity to chain it and lock them in their own special summoning. So that's, if I can, I'll try and have the El Shaddoll set to make Winda on my opponent's turn. And because then that way you're not burning through a Falco either. Yeah, it sets itself this turn, it can't use its flip effect, but if they can only attack one monster with Calga, so they're going to want to attack the Calga or the Winda, and then your Falco is probably going to stay safe. So that's why I generally do that, in case you guys were curious. So that's it for the second one. I'm going to go ahead and reset real quick. Alright, for this third one. So those first 2 combos were to kind of show you what we can do without opening Alistair the Invoker. These next ones, I'm going to have Alistair the Invoker or a way to get to him. So we need Fusion, a Shaddoll, which Squamata is the best one to open. We need an Alistair. And we need a light target. So this could be any light target. This could be BLS. This could be Effect Veiler. If you want to burn through Effect Veiler, it could be really anything. And then we have a blank card. All right, so this one is any light target, Alistair the Invoker, Squamata, and Shaddoll Fusion. This could be another invocation, just so you guys know. And then, or this could be El Shaddoll Fusion, but just a fusion spell. Shaddoll Fusion is probably the best one. But okay, let's go ahead and get into this. I digress. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna roll some Alistair the Invoker, activate his effect, search invocation. Okay, so once we're here, we're gonna activate Shaddoll Fusion. We're gonna send these two off to make construct. Alright, so we're gonna make construct chain link 1, Squamata chain link 2. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Do L Hedgehog. Hedgehog effect, search Falco. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. We're gonna activate our damage juggler's effect. We're gonna banish him. Special summon, to add, sorry. A damage juggler, or trick clown. So this is where we're at right now. We're gonna link 2. To make Alistair the Invoker. Activate Contract's effect engrave, because you don't want to forget that like I did in the last one. Add back El Shaddoll Fusion to hand. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. Which is pretty good in my opinion. So now we're going to activate our invocation. At this point, what we're going to try and end on is we're going to try and end on Kalga Mechaba with El Shaddoll Fusion. So that's what we're going for right now. So we're going to banish and discard Special Summon Mechaba. Alright, and so now we're going to make Alistair Chainlink 1, we're going to make Trick Clown Chainlink 2. There's 2 reasons behind special summoning the Trick Clown. One is we're chain blocking our Alistair the Invoker. Secondly is because we're going to have an El Shaddoll Fusion and a Falco set, and so it kind of gives us the option to, like if they get rid of Alistair the Invoker, kind of gives us the option to make Construct if we want to outside of using the Mechaba, if you can free up the arrows, which I don't think we can. But the prime reason is to chain block our Alistair the Invoker. But at this point, if they had a hand trap, they probably would have used it. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and special this all the way over here. Use his effect, discard to search invocation. Alright, so here we are. Now we're going to use Invocation's Grave effect to put it back to deck, to add Alistair back to our hand. Oh, before we do that, sorry. Before we do that, Falco's effect, because it was discarded, set itself. Don't forget to do that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now we use Invocation's Grave effect, add Alistair back to our hand. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I get ahead of myself whenever I do these videos. Alright, so you don't want to forget the Falco set, because the Falco set's actually very important. So I placed the Trick Clown all the way over here, because I want to keep this arrow free. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to activate Invocation. And I'm actually going to chain my Alistair to that. The reason being is because now I can banish it, and that way I can use Invocation's Grave effect next turn as well. Alright, so we're going to banish this. We've already got El Shaddoll Fusion and Shaddoll Fusion, so we don't need Hedgehog. I would prefer to keep the Squamata in Grave, just in case I need to, like, pop something for some reason. Alright, and we do this. And then I'm not going to use Alistair the Invoker's other effect to discard to search an invocation. The reason being is because I discarded the Alistair the Invoker so I could banish it off the invocation. That way next turn I can kind of keep invocation and Alistair the Invoker recycling each other. That's why I did that. So right now we're going to set our El Shaddoll Fusion and we're going to pass. Because now we have the ability to make Construct or Winda on our opponent's turn because of El Shaddoll Fusion, and a Mechaba, and a Kalga, and a blank card in hand. So this blank card in hand, preferably a monster, so that way if they go to activate a monster effect, you just, negate and banish it with Mechaba, then that's our one monster effect for the turn. But if not, oh well, you just make Winda. Or Construct. Really, just really depends on what you want to do and how their turn plays out. This is pretty strong in my opinion. Or I mean, if you really wanted to, like let's say you knew you were playing against Orcus, this is game 2 and you went first. Boom, Abyss Dweller. Make Dweller and then make Window on your opponent's turn, you know, which is pretty good too. So the fact that Kalga is level 4 opens up a lot of, you know, opens up the rank 4 play to make Abyss Dweller if I really need to. But I would probably do, if I knew I was playing as Orcus, I might do that. But then again, you know, the one monster effect per turn hurts Orcus just as much. Alright, so that is it for the third one. Go ahead and reset real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to hurry this along. I don't think you guys would watch a 40-minute video. I mean, I probably wouldn't. I would probably like listen to it if I was on a long car drive, but I probably wouldn't watch a 40-minute video. So I'm trying to save you guys from that. That's why I'm kind of going through this kind of fast. One reason why I messed up twice. Don't forget to set your Falcos, and don't forget to add your Shaddoll fusions off your constructs. Those are 2 very important things. Okay, so this next one is going to show you what you can do if you don't open Alistair, but you open like a Mathematician and an Invocation. So this is a 5-card combo, unfortunately. Once I find my Mathematicians. Alright. And then we need a light target and a fusion. Alright, so this is going to end on the same thing. But I think with no cards in hand, if I remember correctly. Alright, so this is going to show you what you guys can do, how we can get to that same board without opening an Alistair, the Invoker, but a way to dump it to the graveyard and an Invocation. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to normal summon Mathematician, and we're going to dump our Alistair, the Invoker. Alright. And then now we're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion. Send these to grave. And this could be any light target. Preferably, like, Damage Juggler is probably the best one. But I guess it doesn't really matter. As long as it's a light to make construct. And if you want to, you could activate the Trick Clown to, like, kind of chain block your guys if you really wanted to. So Chainlink 1 construct, Chainlink 2 Squamata, Chainlink 3 Trick Clown. We'll go ahead and do it just because we can. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do L Hedgehog. Alright. We got Hedgehog's effect. We're going to search Falco. Okay. And again, we're going to link these 2 off for Alistair the Invoker. Now we're going to activate Constructs Affecting Graveyard to add our Shaddoll Fusion back because we don't ever want to forget that. Now at this point, you could make another Construct if you wanted to. Personally, I don't see the benefit of doing that. I mean, maybe, I don't see the point in burning through 2 Constructs in a turn. That's just me personally. I guess if you wanted to, like, if you decide to play Shaddoll Core in your build, you could make Construct right now, then send Core to, you know, add back Shaddoll Fusion and then set Falco. And then Shaddoll Fusion in a window on your opponent's turn. Personally, I really agree with that. Just because I don't see the point in burning through 2 constructs turn 1. So the only point of like playing this Trick Clown was to chain block, and at the cost of 1,000 life points. All right, but enough rambling. So we're gonna go ahead and activate our Invocation. We're gonna banish our Invoker of Madness and our Hedgehog. We're going to banish our Alistair the Invoker from grave, not our Invoker of Madness. So some Kalga. Alright, now we're going to activate our Alistair's effect. We're going to discard our Falco to search another Invocation. Boom. Activate Falco's effect. Don't forget this either, like I did earlier, to set itself. Alright, so this is our hand, Shaddoll Fusion Invocation. Activate Invocation's grave effect. Put it back to the deck. Add Alistair back to your hand. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to activate our Invocation. And then you can banish the Trick Clown or you can banish Construct. Personally, I would banish the Trick Clown. So again, the only reason I played it earlier was to chain block. But you could, if you wanted to keep this on field, you could banish Construct if you wanted to. Personally, I would do this. Because, and then once you activate Invocation, chain the Alistair to bump up the Kalga. Again, the reason for this is so that way when Invocation resolves, I can banish it from my graveyard to make the Mechaba. Now I have Invocation in graveyard with a Banished Alistair to kind of do the recycle thing again, because the next turn I can normal summon Alistair and just search it again. That way I didn't have to discard my El Shaddoll Fusion for my Invoker Madness to get another Invocation for next turn. Now it doesn't matter if you make Mechaba or Kalga first. It doesn't really matter. But now we're going to set with an El Shaddoll Fusion. So again, we have a Mechaba on the field, Alistair the Invoker Madness, Kalga, a set Falco, and a set El Shaddoll Fusion. So we can make Construct on our opponent's turn if we need to. We can make Window on our opponent's turn if we need to. And then the fact that I can chain and go into Window whenever I need to is super strong. So it's a pretty good field. And then next turn you're guaranteed, and well, I can't say you're guaranteed, but you have the option of using Invocation's Recycle effect, add Alistair back to hand, as well as like a blank card you're gonna draw. You have a Shaddoll Fusion engrave. So like if they're gonna wipe your whole board, you might as well like El Shaddoll Fusion into a construct. Into a construct to add this Shaddoll Fusion back to hand and stuff. So we're pretty good right now, in my opinion. I feel like it's pretty strong like this. All right, so that's the fourth combo. I'm going to go ahead and just reset real quick and try not... I don't think I've bumped the camera this whole time, which is very surprising, because I did it a bunch of times in the other video that was 40 minutes long. And watch, now that I jinked myself, it's going to happen. Alright, so the fifth one, if we're going first, is going to be Alistair, a light, a Shaddoll, and a dark. So this could be any dark. We're just going to use Armageddon Knight. Now again, with this particular one, the more Shaddolls you open, the better. So keep that in mind. Like if this is a hedgehog, it's a lot better. But so for right now, this is kind of this kind of show you guys what you can do if you don't open a fusion spell, but you open an Alistair, or a way to get to Alistair. So this could be Magical Meltdown. This could be Terraforming. Anything that we've used so far that's required Alistair the Invoker could also be Meltdown and Terraforming. Keep that in mind. Okay, so this is our hand right now. This could be any light. Just Damage Juggler is like the best one. This could be Effect Veiler, this could be BLS, etc. Way to get to Alistair, Shaddoll, and then any dark. Okay, so normal summon Alistair the Invoker. Activate its effect. Search Invocation. Alright, we good? Golden? Great? Grand? Wonderful? Sweet. Alright, Invocation. We're going to make Construct. Chainlink 1, Construct, Chainlink 2, Squamata. Now the reason I always make Construct, Chainlink 1, and if I tell you guys this, you're going to laugh at me. One time I was at a regional, and I was undefeated, playing Chaos Shaddolls back in like Burning Abyss days. And I was actually in Kansas City, Kansas, and I played against a Burning Abyss guy, and it was game 3, we're going into time, and he had ogred 2 of my constructs, right? And I had the ability to make the 3rd. I was like, who plays 3 ogre in the main deck? So I made Construct, and I made Construct Chainlink 2, and he ogred the Construct, and I lost because of that. So that's why I always make my Construct Chainlink 1 to avoid it getting ogred. So keep that in mind. Alright, so anyways, Construct Chainlink 1, Squamata Chainlink 2. Kind of go through the same thing again. Do Hedgehog L. And the reason I always choose Hedgehog to send, because if you have Squamata and Construct, you're going to choose Hedgehog. You're going to choose Hedgehog L. That way you're getting another Shaddoll monster of Hedgehog, and then you can add El Shaddoll Fusion whenever Construct gets linked away. If you don't have Squamata, you want Falco or you want Hedgehog. You don't like Beast is okay because it gives you the opportunity to draw into another Shaddoll monster, and then Dragon you don't want to open going first. So those are the 3 you want. You want Squamata, Hedgehog, or Falco. But if you don't have those off of the construct, if I have like Beast, I'll go Squamata L. Just get Squamata in graveyard in case I need to pop something and I can bring it back with Falco. That's the idea behind it, and it's also deck thinning. But again, if you don't open Squamata, then the 5th card would have to be, if you open like Dragon for your Shaddoll monster, your 5th card would probably have to be a Shaddoll monster to get this going. Alright, so anyways, Then we're going to use Hedgehog's effect to add Falco. Alright. Link these two away. For Alistair the Invoker. Construct's effect. Add back El Shaddoll Fusion. This is why you needed the other dark, so you can make Winda. Alright, so now we're going to use El Shaddoll Fusion. Boom. To make Falco. To make Winda. So, honestly, let's backtrack here a little bit. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do this. Boom. I'm gonna do this smarter. Off the Hedgehog search Beast. And you're probably thinking, why search Beast? Because you're not gonna get Falco's effect, that's why. Beast is the better one. Alright, so now El Shaddoll Fusion after you link. Because this is still in graveyard. Alright, link away. Sorry about that, everyone. These away for El Shaddoll Fusion. I got confused for a second. Okay. So now El Shaddoll Fusion, these two away. To make our Winda. And again, we're going to make Alistair the Invoker Chainlink 1. We're going to make Beast Chainlink 2. That way we can draw a blank card. And then discard whichever one of those two that we don't want. So again, the reason I opted for Beast instead of Falco is because if you do the Falco, you're not going to be able to set it. And you wasted Falco. That's why I opted for that. So now we're going to discard a blank card to search Invocation. It's probably on the top, it is. And then now you're going to activate Invocation. You're going to banish your Alistair. And we've got no Shaddoll Fusion in graveyard. And this is a blank card in graveyard. Let's go ahead and do Hedgehog. Yeah, that's Squamata. What am I thinking here? These two? For Calga. Alright. Now you're going to activate Invocation's Grave Effect, shuffle to the deck, add him back to hand. And that's it for the 5th going first combo. This kind of show what you could do if you didn't open a fusion, but you had a way to get to Alistair. So you have Alistair in hand, a blank card in hand, and then an El Shaddoll Fusion engraved with some Shaddoll monsters. If you really wanted to, you could use this Damage Juggler to search Trick Clown. That's really up to you. But again, like, playing first, if you can, like, try and keep Alistair the Invoker in your hand or a way to get him back to hand, because now you've kind of like safeguarded your play. Because of Calga's effect, they can only attack one monster per turn. So like, let's say they have to attack the Calga to be able to do anything. You just dump the Alistair to bump it up by 1,000 attack and defense. Boom, you saved it. Alright, the next turn you're going to draw a blank card. Then you can link these 4 away from Winda's effect. Which is pretty good. So that's it for the 5th going first combo. And we're going to go ahead and do the going second one. Which, I guess it's like a pseudo 2 going second combos. They just kind of like, one builds off the other. So it's realistically just one. I opted to make way more going first combos than I did going second combos, just to kind of, because you primarily want to play first in today's format. So this other one is going to be Alistair, Shaddoll Fusion, and then Dad. So before Eclipse Wyvern got banned, these 2 cards, or any way to get to these 2 cards, or Shaddoll Fusion and Black Dragon, was an OTK. So either these 2 or these 2 was an OTK. Because you would banish the Eclipse Wyvern off of either the Black Dragon or off the Invocation for Alistair the Invoker. And, then summon Dad. But now that Eclipse Wyvern's banned, you kind of have to hard draw Dad. So now that Dad's at 2, it makes it a little easier. But you have to hard draw the Dad now. Or this could also be BLS. Okay. And they have 2 blank cards. So this only works if they have an extra deck monster, if they end on an extra deck monster, so Shaddoll Fusion is live. If they don't, then hopefully, you know, this is a light monster, and then this is a Shaddoll monster, so you can make construct. But first thing we're going to do, we're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion. Schemata Damage Juggler. Damage Juggler is the best one to dump, so that way you don't have to banish your construct from grave to make 2 Mechabo. Boom. Chainlink 1 construct, Chainlink 2 Schemata. Kind of go through the same thing here. Then Hedgehog's effect. Alright, so now we got 2 Darks in grave. Normal summon Alistair the Invoker, search our invocation. Right, so here we are. Link these 2 away. For Alistair the Invoker of Madness, activate Construct's grave effect, add back Chaos Shaddoll Fusion. At this point, you have exactly 3 Darks in grave. Drop Dad. Okay. Now we're going to activate our invocation. And we're not gonna activate invocation, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Activate Damage Juggler's effect in grave. Almost get stepped. Banish to special. I went to add, sorry. So we're gonna add Trick Clown. The reason we did this is that way we don't have to banish construct from grave to make 2 Mechabo. Alright, so now you're gonna activate invocation. You're going to banish, and then you're going to discard Trick Clown. Make Mechabo. Alistair's effect, discard the Falco, which doesn't get its effect yet. Search invocation. Activate Falco's effect to set itself. Activate invocation's grave effect, shuffle back to the deck. Add Alistair to hand. Activate invocation. And banish to special summon Mechabo. Alright. And then now we're going to use Dad's effect to pop 3 times. And then that's also really good because you end up banishing your... the first thing I would banish to Dad pop would be Alistair. That way next turn you can, use Invocation's grave effect to add Alistair back to your hand, and that way you have another invocation. And if we really wanted to, when we made the second Mechabo, we could have discarded a blank card to search invocation. You can do that if you want to. I just don't see the point to it right now because you're probably going to be swinging for game. Okay, so this is our board right now, and then this is really good because you still have Falco set, so if for some reason this still isn't game, you have El Shaddoll Fusion, you can make Winda on your opponent's turn, or you can make Construct to keep pushing for game. Alright, so just Shaddoll Fusion and a way to get to Alistair will make this board. The Dad just helps seal the deal because you're going to pop cards to get rid of everything. And then if this is BLS, then you've got another body on field to make a construct with. That's why I incorporated the Dad. But realistically, this same combo is possible, just minus the Dad, with just Shaddoll Fusion and a way to get to Alistair. Or like El Shaddoll Fusion, a Shaddoll monster, a light, and a way to get to Alistair. Playing second, Shaddolls have a way easier time playing second, in my opinion, just because Shaddoll Fusion is such a busted card. But that's it for the going second combo. Again, just Shaddoll Fusion and a way to get to Alistair will make this, and you'll have another construct. So keep that in mind. So let me know what you guys think of the combo video. Like, comment, subscribe. The main deck of this hasn't really changed since the ban list came out. I just put in 3 construct, but I highly anticipate that Thunder is going to be the best deck. That's just my opinion, mainly because it was still super strong and didn't get touched on the ban list. So this list might get updated. I might try out another Clown variant now that Construct's back at 3. Because having 3 Construct, I feel like the Clown variant might be a little better. So if you guys want to see a Clown list, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll gladly do that for all of you. And then, as I was saying, the main deck for this might change based on how the meta shapes up. To kind of combat Thunder Dragon some more. Thunder Dragon's not like the hardest matchup in the world for this, But like if you're kind of behind the cue ball if you go second against them, just because of Titans and Colossus's protection. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think, and that's all I got for you guys. Later, YouTube.